well, racism does exist, and it does exist in Britain, obviously. I think one thing a few people are feeling is now that they're seeing far more like BAME opportunities and opportunities targeted at people of color or people from like ethnic minority backgrounds or people who have disabilities, etc., etc., etc. They're now thinking that because all of these opportunities are so apparent, that in sort of systematic systematic oppression and things like that don't exist anymore because we're being just handed a bunch of opportunities. And then I have a lot of people around me who are white and feel like that's unfair, that they'll see an opportunity come up in their emails for like a Queen Mary opportunities. And they'll be like, oh, everything is targeted at BAME students. It's like harder being white now than it is being black. Thinks that they're being black opportunities instead of just leveling an already like completely racist playing field, not even completely leveling it, instead of providing opportunities which are otherwise completely unable to achieve. Instead of providing those opportunities, are instead just excluding white people. So I think in my experience what's currently happening is where people are thinking racism doesn't exist comes from this sort of selfish, egotistical, Eurocentric, self-centered ideal where they want everything for themselves, because human beings are very selfish and we want everything for ourselves. And as soon as they see opportunities being proposed to other people, they're suddenly like, okay, clearly racism doesn't exist because now I'm one who's disadvantaged because I'm not black enough.
I think, like, again, not to say all white people obviously, but like just in general, because white people have so often been ahead in society, like society's built kind of with white people in mind. So I think then suddenly having things not aimed at you is like now I'm being disadvantaged, but actually it's not. It's just giving opportunities to people who haven't had them before. And I think that's part of white privilege, where you just have to be like, hold on, not everything's about me. And like, yeah.
Racism does exist. Take off your rose-tinted goggles. I think people say that for a number of different reasons, as you guys have mentioned. 1, they don't care. 2, it doesn't affect them. And 3, they don't look for it. It baffles me that people still think that. And I have heard some people who you would think better say almost exactly the same words. Racism doesn't exist in Britain anymore. It does. The issue here that I have is I feel like people don't think it exists because it's become more cryptic. It's often microaggression on top of microaggression. I'm not saying that that's better. In fact, I think that being more overt with racism, it's easier for people to see. But nowadays, people of colour, they often feel gaslighted because they notice it and no one else around them does.
Yeah.
It's sort of gone underground. Well, not completely, again, I'm not generalising, but like a lot of people that are still racist are very subtle with their racism. To me, it's not subtle, but to other people it is, because, you know, they're not looking for it, as I said. Just because racism has evolved doesn't mean it doesn't exist anymore. To anyone who is watching, please just educate yourself. Look out for things. Think about what you say, even to a degree, and you can cut this out if you want, Tiana, but I genuinely think that everyone is racist, but to different degrees. Like, we've got internalized racism, we've got racism within groups of people of colour, we've got white people being racist. I think everyone's racist to a degree, and we all need to look intrinsically and address that. I think it's really important to do.
I was just going to add on, like, yeah, I think just because of the society that we all are a part of, like, we can't help but be racist because, you know, you've been taught every day things are a certain way, and like it's really a process of unlearning things. And I think people think, like, you know, just because slavery's over, we're allowed to vote and get jobs, and people don't shout the N-word at us every day, racism is over. But like, it's so much more complicated than that. And you were saying, Aphrodite, like, they're not looking for it, and it's not like we're looking for it either, but like, if it's directed at us, we're gonna notice. And it's, yeah, I think everyone has a duty to educate themselves and to actually just listen, because I think people also get defensive, which doesn't help anyone. They're just like, no, I'm not racist. And it's like, okay, but if you're not racist, or if you don't want to be racist, then like, listen. Like, if someone accuses you of racism, I think your response shouldn't be, no, I'm not racist. It should be, okay, I didn't realize that was racist. Can you explain to me how it was, and I'll try and do better. Like, because it's not about like shaming people and being like, you're racist, let's get him. But it should be like, let's just learn and make the world a better place, please.
Oh wait, okay.
Racism is bad.
The melancholy marriage of racism and mixed race people.
That came out of nowhere, but it was so deep.